Story 1. Today, I effed up my marriage proposal. So it's nothing dramatic to say the least, but I think it was semi-entertaining. Back about 112 years ago, me M27 and my now ex-partner F25 went to Amsterdam on a holiday to try and see more of the world. We booked our flights and hotel and everything, but because it's Amsterdam, the typical conversation started about their special brownies and sweets came about. Initially, we agreed that we would both try them together because we've only ever been drunk together and thought this would be a fun experience. So we arrive at the hotel around 10 p.m., get ourselves sorted, and headed out the day after to see the city. We bought some special brownies and headed back. We get in the hotel room and put on Shrek 2, her favorite film, and I've eaten mine because I enjoyed them. She didn't, however, and was scared because I was giggling all the time and laughing when they finally kicked in. I honestly don't understand it. I had a great time. So we're around the time where Prince Charming turns up and an idea popped into my head. I had bought the very ring she wanted to propose to her. Initially, I wanted to do it on a bridge, somewhere quiet because I know she hates crowds and being the center of attention, but my brain apparently thought that while we were alone in the hotel room, me being high-ass on brownies and in a very giggly mood because of Shrek's antics though. You know what? Now's the perfect time to ask her to marry me. And I told her to close her eyes as I grabbed the ring. She seemed happy but didn't get overly emotional about it, which is surprising for her. After a few days, she said no because she has some trepidations about our relationship due to my lack of being able to save money and health. I am not a skinny boy. I'm fairly big, so she's declined for now. But since January, we broke up after she found I've only saved 600 pounds total. TLDR, I proposed high ASF during Shrek 2, and it fell through. Edit 1. I am under the full belief that she was justified to want to break up, and I hold no resentment towards her. I know my money and health are important to take care of and am improving on that, but I appreciate the support, guys. Story 2. Oh, I played the long game. I am by no means an expert or pro at revenge, but I am a patient person. I disclosed this to a friend and they directed me here. Throwaway for obvious reasons. It's a long read, but the setup and backstory are important. 7 years ago, I was lucky enough to be able to buy my own place. I had saved for 10 years, worked my ass off, and I was so happy to be able to have a place to call my own. Now, being a single person on the mortgage meant I had to make compromises. One such compromise was buying a property on a shared block a lot cheaper. Where I'm from, this usually means it's on a strata title. For some, that's a bonus, as it means there's a communal fund for repairs. Typically, insurance is cheaper as it's collective, and other things like maintenance being taken care of. Strata titles also come with a lot of bylaws and restrictions on what you can and can't do. I'm a pretty private and introverted person, so having to deal with people and have limits on how I live was a no-no. I took my time, found the perfect property, shared block but freehold title. Only thing that was, I needed to pay public liability insurance for the shared walkway on the property split equally between owners. The real estate agent is local to my area. There's also about 3 degrees of separation between us. He has friends who are friends with my friends type of thing. Didn't know him, but knew of him. So that sort of felt good too. About 5 months after I move in, I get a knock on the door from the owner-landlord of the property next to me to discuss insurance. Not a problem. I ask for a copy of the policy so I have a record. It gets sent through, and lo and behold, it's for strata insurance. I was incredibly confused, and after much back and forth, the property isn't a freehold title, but a strata title. I called my lawyer who conveyed the title, etc. He was dumbfounded, but over it all did the right thing and made things as right as they could. I arranged for a meeting with the real estate agent. I brought emails and printouts of the ads they had, all saying it was freehold, emails between the real estate agent and my lawyer discussing its freehold status. Despite it being in absolute black and white, he refused to accept any fault or offer anything to make things right. I don't begrudge that. He's looking out for himself. I get that. However, I wouldn't forget it. I did enter into mediation with the real estate agent, and all I asked for was, when the time came for me to sell, they'd do it or cover the costs. I thought this was reasonable, but they flat out offered me 1K to go away, which I refused. I had the option to pursue them legally and was advised by the mediator to do so. But ultimately I decided against it for a few reasons, the main one being my health at the time. So I planned and plotted, and I schemed and connived as to how to get back at this son of a bitch. And I settled on this. I found his personal Facebook page, which wasn't set to private, saw some photos of a boys on tour trip he went on a few weeks prior, so about 5-6 months after I bought the property. I also found his address through a business registration search. On the anniversary of the sale, for 6 years straight, I sent them flowers with a note. Dear real estate agent, remembering you on this our special day. She has your eyes. Love, L. They varied ever so slightly over the years, but always had on this our special day and some weird inference to a love child and a desire to reconnect. I also from time to time arranged for postcards and letters to be sent from another country, the one he was on tour in, always signed Love, L. I learned about 3 weeks ago that this guy had recently divorced, lost his home, and is not longer working as a real estate agent. His wife had found out he cheated on her. The story I was told through said friends of friends went along the lines of, he would get weird gifts and flowers every year. Same day, every year. His wife finally put 2 and 2 together and realized what the date was, and he admitted to cheating on her. Now, I didn't mean for this, but it turns out a year before I bought my house, he had gone on holiday, came back with an STD, gave it to his wife, but somehow convinced her that it wasn't him. As such, our special day turned out to be right around the time he'd have been balls deep, sans condom, in someone who wasn't his wife, only 1 year earlier. He's apparently lost his house, half his retirement savings, and also his business. I do feel a little bit guilty about all of it sometimes, but then I'm reminded that he's a scumbag and that karma, like me, is a patient, spiteful, and vengeful bitch. Story 3. Am I the a-hole for getting disappointed with my date when they asked me to pay for a fare? I'm currently talking to this guy, which I met in a dating site last August. It's actually my first time using the app, so I don't have any idea with dating. We decided to meet for the first time after more than a week of talking. So, while planning on where to go, he told me that we should pay separately during our date, and I actually don't mind since that's basically my plan. I'm also not used in letting someone pay for my food, so I don't mind. Then after that, he says that he will fetch me from my house so we can go to the place together. I even asked him if he's sure about it since my house is out of his way, and I actually don't mind commuting, but he said yes, so I agreed. But after that, he suddenly asked me to pay him for the fare since he will fetch and drop me off to my house. At that moment, I suddenly felt disappointed or something, I don't know. Like, he's the one who volunteered to fetch me, then he'll suddenly ask me that should pay this specific amount. I just thought that I should really just commute like what I initially planned since it's more cheaper and I feel like I will be more comfortable that way. So, I don't really know what to do.